Hey, I'm Dusty with Magnum Bikes, and this is the Scout. The Scout is a fat-tired mountain bike. It's our most powerful bike, 750 watts, big 4-inch wide mountain bike tires. It's a great bike for hunting, fishing, camping, rolling on long country back roads, doing whatever you want to do off-road. Pretty good bike on-road as well. It's a versatile bike, lots of adjustability on the Scout. The seat can drop as low as someone who's, say, 5'4" might want, and can raise quite high for riders over 6 foot. The standover height's pretty low on the Scout as well, you'll notice, because of the drop top tube. Water bottle mount, extra capacity battery, front suspension fork, integrated front and rear lights, and some Magnum electrics that we're really proud of. The Scout has our new display, nice and big, easy to read, plenty of levels of pedal assist and boost. It also has a Bafang 750 watt motor and a new Magnum controller to handle all that power. You'll also notice some pretty beefy connections on the Scout. That's because this bike pushes a lot of electricity, and we needed some nice connectors to be able to handle it. One of my favorite features of this bike is this beefy mid-mount kickstand. It's probably our best kickstand to date. You can see it's welded and has some gussets here for stiffness. This kickstand barely flexes and is mid-mount, so the bike's held in a very stable position. Hydraulic disc brakes front and rear from a company called Logan. These feel great, and of course the hydraulic is going to give you more power and it will lead to less fatigue in your hands. The controls are over on the left here, so you can change the mode and raise your pedal assist up and down. You can also turn on the light and the rear light right here at the display. The front fork has some adjustability. You can lock it out, and you can also stiffen it up depending on your weight with the preload here. Even though the Scout is a fat bike, we lightened it up. It's quite a bit lighter than some fat bikes. And we did this with a lighter weight casing tire. And instead of doing metal fenders, we did a polycarbonate fender. And these don't move and rattle around like some metal fenders do. Metal Well-Go pedals for longevity. They have nice pins on them too, so they're not going to wear down as much as a polycarbonate or plastic pedal. A replaceable chainring. For the longevity of this bike, if you put a lot of miles on it, you're going to need to replace your chainring and your chain at some point, and so we thought we may as well have a nice upgradable, replaceable chainring. The rear rack on the Scout has space for days. It's one of our longest racks, so for hunting, for fishing, for bike camping, whatever you want to do, plenty of space back here, and you can fit about 55 pounds of weight on that rear rack. Every Scout's also going to come with a bungee strap to strap down whatever cargo you are hauling. You may need to wake up the battery to turn your bike on. Do that by pressing the button on top of the battery, and then you'll press the power button on the display on the left-hand side of the handlebar. Press and hold that, and the bike will boot up. After the battery icon is done flashing, the bike has finished its boot up. It will always come on in the first pedal assist mode, which is Eco on this display. You can turn it off and have no pedal assist by pressing the lower arrow. This bike has 6 modes of pedal assist: Eco, Tour, Sport, Turbo, Boost, and when you press up one more time, Boost flashes, which we call Boost Plus. This bike will go 28 miles per hour with pedal assist in Boost Plus. Those settings can be changed inside the display. To see the other functions of the display, press the M button, which will show you your average speed, your top speed, and also change the odometer and trip times and distances. To turn the headlight on this bike, you press and hold plus, and you'll see a headlight icon show up here in the upper right corner. That means your headlight is on, and so is your tail light. The tail light on this bike will flash when you pull the brakes. Moving on to the rest of the cockpit, this bike has a 7-speed drivetrain to change the leverage for the rider. Pressing this upper thumb lever will go to an easier gear. and pressing this lower button will click to a higher gear. So 1 would be your easiest pedaling gear for going up hills, and 7 would be your hardest, fastest pedaling gear for flat ground or downhill. On the Scout, you'll find ergonomic stitched leather grips. These reduce hand numbness by supporting the ulnar nerve on the edge of the hand. The throttle on this bike is a twist throttle. The connections on this bike are kept in place by some pretty handy Velcro straps and some clips. The connections are all pretty easy to put together and take apart as well, to troubleshoot or to move things around on your bike if you're changing it, for instance, from a Class 3 to a Class 1 e-bike. The brake cutoffs are located here, and these make it so that the motor will not work when the brakes are pulled. This is a safety feature on most of our bikes. The stem on the Scout is a fixed stem. Some of Magnum's stems are adjustable. The reason we went with a fixed stem on the Scout was for stiffness and precise control, since this is a fat-tired mountain bike. You can still adjust where the stem sits on top of the steer tube by moving these spacers above the stem. You'll see various mounts on the Scout. The ones up front here are for a front carrier available from Magnum. The front carrier can carry things on the front of the bike and just needs the headlight to be moved to a different location because of the suspension fork. The mounts here on the top tube of the bike can hold various things: a water bottle cage, a lock. Lots of aftermarket accessories are available for this kind of mount. The saddle on the Scout is a comfort saddle with a pretty wide base and a short nose. That said, it is universal. This rail system is almost universal the world over, and you can find any kind of replacement saddle that fits your undercarriage. Another element about this saddle I like, though, besides it being a comfort saddle, is this nice stout grip. This thing is nice when you want to move the Scout around. The electrics on the Scout include the i6 battery, which Magnum offers in several different sizes as an aftermarket upgrade to improve your range, and an outer controller mounted on the seat tube here. The reason we mounted this on the outside was for ease of replacement and also to keep the controller cool when you're on longer rides. The drivetrain on the Scout includes a nice big front chainring for going fast. We upgraded the rear freewheel to Shimano, which has a really nice high quality ratcheting system. The rear derailleur is the ever proven and stalwart Altus from Shimano as well. And the rear wheel includes 12 gauge stouter spokes. For the Scout, we went with a motor from the company Bafang. Bafang makes a really high quality geared hub motor with great longevity. We also went with 180 millimeter rotors on the disc brakes, front and rear, which makes this bike stop anytime you want. The tires on this bike are a Kenda 4-inch wide knobby with some pretty aggressive knobs on the Scout. Another thing I really like about the Scout is this adjustable fender mount right here. You loosen this bolt and you can slide the fender in and out to get the perfect fit. The Scout is my favorite bike that Magnum offers right now, and there's a couple reasons why. All day backcountry epics, fishing, camping, hunting, all good. Extra capacity battery means you can do all day in the backcountry. Wide tires mean this thing is stable, and one of our biggest racks we've ever had, I've hauled a person on this rack. We don't recommend doing that, but at max weight of 55 pounds, you could certainly haul plenty of fish, game, or gear on the rear of this thing. I love some elements of the frame too. We widened some of the tubes so that the welds are bigger and the frame is stiffer, and this thing gives a really controlled ride for how much power it has and for how wide the tires are. I also love the colors. It's going to come in 4 different colors. A couple of them will really appeal to the hunter or the outdoorsman. You can also do burnouts. Some e-bikes have a really loud motor. This bike's going to fall somewhere in the middle. Because of the power, when you hit the throttle or the pedal assist and the bike is pushing out a lot of watts, you can hear it wind up, but then the sound kind of goes away. There will always be a little bit of a sound of the planetary gears inside, and that just means you got a lot of power.